Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and in this video I just wanted to share 3 tactics that I have used in the Green Mountain Stage Race Criterium in 2 times racing it that have helped me finish with the lead pack. Alright guys, now this video here is going to be just a quick video on some tactics that I have used at 2 editions of the Green Mountain Stage Race that have helped me finish in the lead pack in the Stage 4 Criterium, that have helped me secure overall podium finishes at both races. Now I want to kind of start off here with just a little bit of a disclosure, is that I am by absolutely no means a great Criterium racer. In fact, I would say quite the contrary. I'm actually a relatively weak Criterium racer, and the only reason why, and I don't even enjoy Criteriums, but as you guys maybe have heard in past videos, I love the Green Mountain Stage Race. It's a 4-day stage race in the Green Mountains of Vermont that is usually run every year on Labor Day weekend. And I've attended the race now twice, and I've been able to finish on the podium in my field both times that I've done the race. And of course, the last day of the stage race is a downtown Criterium in the city of Burlington. And for anybody who's not familiar, the downtown Burlington Criterium is a very difficult race, and it's one of the most prestigious Criterium events in my part of the country here in the U.S. And I just wanted to share with you guys 3 tactics that I have used in both editions that that in my opinion have helped me maybe get over some weaknesses I have at Criterium racing and that style of racing in general, and have helped me, hang on to the lead group so I could finish with the lead pack and, maintain an overall podium finish. Now, the first tactic that I want to share with you guys is the importance of either starting up front, or if you don't have the opportunity to start up front, you have to basically sell your soul in the first, 5-10 minutes to get yourself up front. And I've been fortunate in both editions I've ran the race. I've gone into the Stage 4 Criterium in the top 3, in the top 4 overall. The first year I did it was in 2012, and I actually went into the last day 3rd overall. And this past year here, this past September, I went in 4th overall. But long story short is, because I was in the top 10, I was able to start at the very front line of the Criterium. So this was a huge benefit for me, and a huge advantage I had over some other guys in the pack. So I kind of had the benefit of starting up front because I had a high overall placing in the overall field going into the race. But if you didn't have that luxury going into the Criterium race, without question, in those first 3 to 4 laps, 5 to 10 minutes of the race, in my opinion, it's very important. And I don't care if you have to chew your stem, you have got to get yourself up to the front of the pack at all cost. Even if it's at the risk of possibly crashing. I mean, barring taking just completely ridiculous chances, you have to do all you can and, muster every ounce of energy you have to try to get yourself into the top half of the field. I would like to be somewhere in the top 10 if you could, after about 3 to 4 laps. And what this is going to basically do for you, and it does for me, is by starting at the front of the field, okay, and then I basically use those first 3 to 4 laps to obviously get myself acclimated to the incredible pace that these Criteriums offer. And if I am going to slip back, which in both races, honestly, I have slipped back, in the first 3 to 4 laps of the race, but by starting up front, or by, and if you didn't start up front, by getting yourself up front as quick as possible, this is going to allow you to have a little bit of room for error in those first 3 to 4, 5 laps, when the pace is just absolutely breakneck speed and everybody is just basically tanking themselves at the start of these Criteriums. And the thing you have to keep in mind is that the pace is going to come back to you. The pace is going to settle down. You just have to basically, completely commit, and I often use the phrase, chew your stem, basically. You have to just muster up as much energy as you possibly can and stay in the lead pack at all costs in those first 5 laps. And I use those first 5 laps to kind of settle in, and in both years, we've had a little bit of a separation in the field at about the 4 or 5 lap mark, and this way here, basically you've got a lead pack that establishes and a chase pack, and you don't want to be in that chase pack, because if you get hung up there or if things don't go well, you could find yourself being tailed off from the lead group, even though you may individually be strong enough to hang there. If you don't have the proper positioning early on in the race, it can basically almost kind of force your hand into getting, lapped and getting pulled off the race course. So my first tip is, if you don't start up front. If you start up front, then it's already taken care of for you. You're up front, and try to get a great start so you can stay up front as long as possible. But if you're not starting up front, you have to do everything you can in those first, 4 to 5 laps, 10 minutes of the race, to get yourself up front so that you can be in there when that separation in the field is inevitably going to happen. There seems to always be some kind of separation in any Criterium field I've ever either been in or watched. There's usually a separation of fields, and you really want to be in that lead one, especially if you have any kind of Criterium race aspirations, or if you're looking for an overall type finish in the stage race type deal. You have to be in that lead pack, and sometimes you have to sell your soul and chew your stem and bury yourself in order to do that. But that's my first tip for you guys. Okay, and my second tip for you guys is the conservation of momentum. And I was recently actually online, I was on Facebook actually, just kind of looking through some photos from last season on the Green Mountain Stage Race Facebook page. And I came across a photo that I instantly kind of brought back memories. And it was actually a photo of our field. It was a photo of our field in last year's stage race, stage 4 Criterium race there in Burlington. And as you see in this video, I'm at the very back here in the yellow, black, and red. That's me there way in the back. And to the person who, maybe doesn't know what my tactic was here, what I was thinking, it looks like I'm in serious danger of being tailed off the back and getting dropped. And you know what? I don't think that was the case, and this was actually an intentional thing I was doing. And as you can see in this photo, as you saw in that photo, I was, a couple of bike lengths back off of that guy there in the back. And basically what that was allowing me to do is by just hanging off far enough, I was able to basically pick whatever line I wanted through a couple of very critical corners on that course. And that particular, where that photo was taken, that right there is basically going in to a very hard sweeping left-hand turn. It's a very fast-paced turn. We're hitting that turn, sometimes up over 30 miles an hour going into that downhill left-hand turn. And then there's a pretty good little rise. When you go around that turn, the road turns up, and it's a pretty good little punch, back up to the start-finish line. And, being a pretty good climber, I was using that portion of the course to kind of get myself, back into contention or back or to make specific moves during the race. But by tailing off of the back of the lead pack by just a little bit, not enough to where I felt I was in serious jeopardy of getting dropped, but I would give myself, and there's 4 or 5 corners on that course that are very technical, and I'm a pretty decent bike handler. I don't consider myself to be a world-class bike handler by any means, and myself, I don't like to go into those corners with guys right at my side, and I just think it leaves yourself open to a higher possibility of crashing or to making a mistake on your own, and going into the barriers or losing a lot of momentum or something that could possibly force you to get dropped. So my tactic usually on this course here is through several of these very difficult technical corners, I'll actually hang back off of the front pack just a smidgen so that I can pick whatever line that I feel is the quickest through there anyways, and the line that allows me to conserve the most amount of momentum so that when I come out of these corners, I don't have to, bury myself in a, 700-800 watt dig to get back onto the draft. So through these particularly difficult corners, I'll hang back a little bit, and it's here it allows me to kind of have my own picking and choosing of what line I want to use. And oftentimes I'll pick a line that's going to allow me to conserve the most amount of energy and conserve the most amount of momentum going through these turns. And I just find it makes it easier when you exit the turn to get back onto the draft and to not have yourself get dropped. So my second tip for you guys in Criterium racing is to, if you can do it in pre-race, reconnaissance of the course, great. But if not, the first couple of laps, you want to be looking for these. You want to be deciphering in your head, okay, what are the very difficult corners here? What corners in the laps to come do I have to really do a good job of conserving my momentum to make sure that I'm not going too deep into the red early on in this race, and help yourself to not get dropped. So conserving momentum, in my opinion, is very, very important in Criterium racing. Okay, guys, and my third tip for you guys on Criterium racing is try to pick, if possible. Not every course is going to give you the possibility, but this Burlington course gives me the opportunity, at least in my opinion. And if you can, try to find a section of the course that you are, that you feel that you're good at, okay, and use that section of course to make moves or to make adjustments within the field, every lap to kind of readjust yourself in the field if you want to either make a move up front or just maybe it's even to just get in with a teammate behind a teammate's wheel. Just use that section of the course to make adjustments in your positioning each lap, which is obviously going to help increase your opportunities of not getting dropped and potentially even winning the race. Now, like I mentioned to you guys here on step 2, on my second tip, in the Green Mountain Stage Race, just before the start-finish line every lap, there is, it's got to be, I would say it's probably maybe a 200-meter uphill. It's not a steep climb, but it's just enough of an uphill portion in the road that it allows anybody who's a good climber to kind of get back up towards the front of the pack. And in both editions of this race, I have used this little hill as my place each lap, where I will come from the back of the pack just drafting. I'll use this hill to either make up, a handful of positions, or sometimes I've even gone up there and I've even gone from last in the pack, 10th, 11th, 12th, up to leading the race from the top 2 or 3 guys just by kind of going up the outside on that hill and getting ahead of guys who who aren't as good of a climber as what I am. And so I use that specific portion of the course every lap to readjust my positioning, or to make a move, and then I'll try to hold that position, or at least do my best job to maintain the position through the remainder of the course. And then the next time back around that lap again, I'm going to once again use that specific section of the course to make a serious move, or to make an attack, or to burn a match, so to speak, to kind of get myself repositioned in the pack where I want to be, for that given point in the race. So, you're going to have to burn matches in Criteriums. It's just the way it is. And you might just as well burn them on a particular portion of the course that you feel is good for you. And sometimes it could even just be a spot where you've got a little bit more confidence in your abilities, in your confidence to handle your bike, or whatever it may be. Or maybe it's a hill, or maybe it's a downhill section, maybe it's a sweeping corner, whatever it may be. Every course is going to have their individual segments that are unique to themselves, and what you've got to do, either through your warm-up laps or early on in the race, is try to identify at least one, but maybe even a couple sections of this race, of this course, that are going to benefit you, suit your abilities, and then use those specific portions of the race each lap, if you can, to reposition yourself, or to get onto a teammate's wheel, or to get in with somebody who you trust. After 6-7 laps, or 10 laps in a crit, you start to realize, okay, which guys you trust being behind, which guys you don't trust, and so on and so forth. Use these specific portions of the course to kind of get back in line with those guys, or to, like I said, to find a teammate, or to make a move, whatever it may be. But using portions of the course that benefit you are certainly important when it comes to Criterium racing, and that's helped me the 2 times I've competed here at the Burlington Criterium. So there you have it, guys. I just wanted to give you 3 basic tips that I have used in my 2 races at the downtown Burlington Criterium and Green Mountain Stage Race. These are 3 techniques, tactics that have helped me maintain a lead pack finish and have helped me conserve overall podium finishes for a guy who really isn't a strong Criterium racer by any stretch of the imagination, but racing smart and thinking of ways to benefit your abilities on the bike are important in Criterium racing, and I think those tips will help you out, guys. So I appreciate all the support I'm getting here in the channel. You guys have been great. If you like these kind of videos, give me a thumbs up. I'll try to continue to make more of these. And as always, I'll look forward to seeing you guys right here in the next one.